We're back, guys. So, hold on. I had to clear my throat more than I expected. So I'm gonna work on some more bridal concepts. We're probably not gonna stick to just Western today, because, fun fact, I was talking to a friend about bridals, and I think I got some ideas to adjust some of the Western ones a little bit, so I think we're gonna still work on this one here. We're gonna finish this one up. Where did my glove run off to this time? There you are. So yeah, we're gonna try to finish up this ear hole one because I think I'm gonna keep this one the same. There may be some small edits to some of the other designs. This one may or may not getting changed or replaced. It probably will just get a brow band based off of what I was talking about with my friend. And then mechanical hackamore, I'm actually looking at a couple of Latin style, just to kind of keep it more generalized, because one of them is the Criollo bridle, but yeah, Latin style, like, bridles more, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, vaquero, I think, bridles. I could be pronouncing that wrong, and I apologize. I haven't looked it up in a while. It's been a bit. But basically, Criollo style bridles, where it's basically this with a brow band, but then there's also a secondary halter that goes with it, that can go over or under it. And then also just, I believe a couple other ones have been called Argentina polo bridles or something like that, or polo halters. So I'm looking at a couple of stuff like that, and we might replace the mechanical. This is obviously not an actual mechanical, I just left that in there as a placeholder. We might replace the idea of the mechanical with those ones. So I'm gonna do some more research. We're gonna check it out, see what we want to go with. But yeah, for now, Bozel's fine as far as I can tell. The loping hackamore, quote-unquote, I'm probably gonna need to make some edits to this and actually tug down this part here, because the whole point of it is to do so with this section here that's made out of the rope, which is the Theodore, if I'm saying that right. And the mechanical hackamore will be replaced hopefully by a different one. Earhole shank will stay the same, and this one may just be getting a brow band, so we'll see. We will see. What I'm kind of leaning towards is maybe having, like, the Criollo style one, which I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna name it, because obviously Criollos are not gonna be a horse, and Argentina's not gonna exist either. So I can't call it stuff like Argentina, or like Mexican, or Criollo, or like South American, or any of those things, which are the places that I'm trying to take inspiration from. For a lot of my Western stuff. I can't name it after any place in real life, because they don't exist in Gaia. So all of this stuff is based off of what's going to be part of Gaia's lore and stuff. So, and all the tack I'm working on right now is intended to be tack that's used in modern day. Even if it's more of a traditional style tack, you'll see what I mean when I get into talking about the endurance tack. There is a traditional version of the saddle that I'm trying to invent, and then, which is actually inspired by a mixture of Australian saddles and old cavalry saddles, and I'm really excited to share that with you guys. And then, yeah, so it could be a mixture of stuff that's more traditional based but still used in modern day, but as long as everything's in use in modern day. So basically, I'm aiming for a set of modern based tack, like modern intended tack, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But I'm aiming for that to give people a wide variety of choice. In reality, there's going to be a lot of different types of tack that people could use within the world, but this gives like a very good variety of tack, and gives like people who are participating in the world. So if it's like, you know, a game, a story, my little RPG server I'm starting to develop, stuff like that, like any sort of like people who are like participating, maybe world building in it with me, etc. Like it gives them an idea of the kinds of tack that they would see in this world. I do eventually want to do some really cool stuff with like old knight saddles and stuff, but because they're not used in modern day outside of historical reenactment stuff, or just, you know, for whatever other reasons people might want to use them, but they're not a standard not a standard saddle. It's not something I'm doing concept art of right now. I should probably get on with what I was doing. But I am excited to, like, you know, do concept art and stuff of that. Same for other cultures' tack. I have quite a few really cool references of different cultures, so the ones that I'm actually planning on focusing on for inspiration for Gaia, I'm hoping to try to recreate stuff that feels like it, and gels well with, like, the rest of the world space. I don't want anything to feel like it's appropriation. I want everything to be either, like, you know, inspiration or tribute, you know? Alrighty, so we can work on the base. So let's go ahead and give this one a try. I don't remember what I think I was like at 7 or 8 for my brush size, wasn't I? I think 7's a bit more accurate. Let's go with 7. But yeah, I started doing some research into different, like, bits and stuff, and said friend is helping me with that, so I'm really excited to hear more about it. But yeah, like, fun fact, I don't want to say I've never ridden a bit, because I'm pretty sure I have, but when I did used to go riding, because I haven't ridden in many years now, but when I used to go riding, I mostly rode in a Bosal hackamore, because I was a Western rider, and as a kid, I was, I guess you could say, afraid of bits, in a sense. I thought they were, like, a bit too harsh. Like, I just didn't like the idea of putting metal in an animal's mouth, personally. Because I would be like, well, I wouldn't like that, you know? As an adult, obviously, like, I have a little bit more, matured views. I personally am still not a huge fan of bits, but I also am not, like, completely against them. Like, I understand why they're so useful and how, like, in what ways they help with communication. So, basically, I still feel like I would personally prefer using something like a hackamore, especially, like, the Bosal style one, but also at the same time, like, I've also grown to realize stuff like, you know, the difference between a bit and a Bosal or any other style of bridle that is bitless. It all depends on the rider. It depends on your hands and how well you handle the animal. And of course it depends on the horse, because some horses just don't perform well without a bit. So it's not a black and white thing. It's not bits are bad and everything else is good. You could damage a horse's face as much as a bit can with something that is bitless, if you don't know how to use it correctly. So for my stuff, I'm trying to showcase different types of tack. So like the English tack, for example, is intended to just be a standard, like, I believe it's a snaffle bit with a egg butt ring, and it's just a very basic one. I'm not gonna go into too much detail about why I picked it and stuff, because a lot of it is mostly just I want something very general, and from what research I was finding, I just didn't want to pick something that was like very specialized or like a high-end thing. Like I wanted this to be something you could use on technically any horse, as long as they're obviously able to take a bit. So that's kind of where I've been going with these, is it's like for the English bridles, I just want a very standard normal bit, one that any horse could use. And then for the Western bridles, because a shank bit's more common, and I hope I'm using that term correctly, I've been choosing to use that. But also I might have it so it's like, how do I explain this? You can use any type of bridle with any riding style. So like, for example, you can mix and match like Western bridles with English tack and vice versa, you know. So you could do a English bridle with a Western saddle, you know. It's not going to be locked in. So if the player wanted to have a horse riding in a snaffle bit instead of a shank bit, they can. They just would have to use it on the head stall that it comes with, because One thing I don't plan on doing, if I am going to turn any of this stuff into 3D models and do a 3D game, because for me, I'm a 3D artist. I do 2D, but I specialize in 3D. For me, I want to keep the models fairly straightforward. I don't want to say simple because these are not going to be simple. If I want to keep it simple, it'd all be like one set of tack per thing. And it's like, as you can see, these concepts are not that simple. But the general idea is it's like, I don't want to have like interchangeable bits because that's just a nightmare. There's a reason why horse games don't do that, and it's just because it's a lot of work. It's really, really difficult to pull something like that off, and it's just not something I'm personally interested in attempting. Can I steal part of what I made for you? I just need this little detail section here so I can recreate this. There we go. So I can recreate this thing a little bit easier. But yeah, anyways, so bits are not going to be interchangeable for anything I do. I mean, like, obviously, in terms of just, like, general, like, artwork and stuff, yeah, you could draw any kind of bit on any type of bridle. I don't care. That's not really my personal business. But when it comes to the actual game development and stuff, I would want to go with something that is going to be manageable for me as a 3D artist. I don't want to do something that will make my life much more difficult for pretty much no reason, you know? I hope this looks okay. So it's like 1, 2... This one would maybe be technically underneath here. And then this one would be up 1. So this would get erased. I think that works. Make this just a touch thicker. There we go. And then just add a little bit of just a little bit of depth to it so it looks like that works. I don't want to put too much detail around the whole thing because it's just concept art. So it doesn't need to be like crazy detailed, but I do want it to be higher quality than my previous work. Okay, there we go. So we got some nice details put in. Okay, we haven't drawn the reins in yet. I can technically get the reins from this though, because it'll be the same positioning. do need the rest of the reins then. Okay, that works. So that gets us the reins, and now we gotta figure out these parts here. So let's pull up the references. Okay, so this one did loop back around, and then it just had like a really cool looking buckle on each of these. And then this did end up eventually just looping into the bit. So it kinda went a bit like this, and then the bit kinda goes like that. A little thick, but it works, it works. Okay, let's try that. I think that could work. Okay, we can delete you. Almost done with this one. Okay, so I'm kind of tempted to just leave it as a circle, to be honest. Just to keep it very general. Where's the circle tool on this thing again? The Collect Ellipse tool. Still feels a little thick. We want to keep these guys the same size, I think. So let's put you down there. I'm just gonna call them circles for now, because I think that'll be easiest. And then we want to make sure we can't see this from underneath it. Same for up here. Trace it out of these areas. This is gonna be fun to try and draw on the front of the head, because you're gonna have to draw both of these guys. So we'll see how that turns out. So far so good. Then we'll need to remove some sections off the bit. I think that works. Okay, so we're gonna delete the mechanical one because we're replacing you. We technically made this, but we might be replacing that, and we're gonna delete that because we already fixed it. This can go under here. I think we're done with these references, so we can delete all of these guys. That was one of the test versions, I think, so I'm gonna delete you. Just throw those guys under there. Okay, almost done with the ear hole one. Just gotta fill these guys in. Yeah, I'm so excited to be working on these. Like, I'm really glad I'm finally getting around to working on the updated tack concept art. And what I'm thinking is I'm gonna work on, obviously, the headpieces first. We're gonna get through as many of these guys as we can. Obviously, hopefully all of them. I don't want to finish half of them, but we'll see how I'm feeling. Because sometimes I hop around a little bit. And then once the head stalls are done and like halters and all that stuff, what I'm thinking, how did I do this? Yeah, I did put it on those. Okay. What I'm thinking is we'll probably do like blankets and saddles next. I might do blankets, to be honest, just because it might be like the easier one. And then from there, of course, saddles if I didn't do those first. And once the main parts of the tack are done, then we can start working on some of the fun bits. So stuff like all the accessories. So for example, like the, you know, leg wraps and boots and stuff, all those fun little things. We can work on those. I got a couple things I'm like thinking about, including like ear bonnets and stuff. I don't know if I'll do some of the more miscellaneous ones, like pack equipment. I think it would be nice to have it, but we'll see. So yeah, basically tack and accessory tack will be up next after all of, or will be what we'll be working on for a bit here. And I might take breaks here and there to work on something else, depending on how I'm feeling. Alright. Well, that covers that. So there we go. If we turn this back up to 100%, I think it's looking pretty solid. So this one and the mechanical, I'm going to rename that to replace. We're going to update those ones later. So for now, I'm leaving them as is, and then we're going to take a peek at what we have next. So we got what I have as endurance bridles. So these are going to be interesting because these guys are basically very similar on the Western one. And then the snap-on is basically a halter with just an add-on bit. So it's mostly a halter, but then you just have a little strap connecting up to the halter for having a bit, and then you just unsnap that, and then you're good to go when you're doing an endurance competition. And then the last one for endurance, because I only did 3, is going to be the bitless side pull. And this one, of course, is just a basic side pull design. I'm probably going to have to look up some good references for that. And then after that, we got all the halters. And the cool thing with doing halters is it's going to be so easy to go through each of these, because I basically just need to make this halter and then just recolor it when it comes to like leather or the breakaway, because the breakaway is just going to have the upper part of it be the leather. That's it. So these guys will be very simple. And then the Western halter, we're actually kind of going to be making the Western halter with this one. I don't know if I'm going to have to edit like the positioning of anything. And then again, the endurance halters are technically the Western halter, the snap-on style one. Nothing else. And then we got show halters. So the Western show halter is going to be relatively the same as the normal leather one, but the difference is it's going to have a big flashy buckle on this part, so we're just going to have to replace the buckle out. And then it's going to have a wider noseband for like decorative elements, so like you could put stuff like you could put like engravings on there, you could put like a metal plate on there and stuff, etc., etc. The English show halter is just a very simple set of leather with a little chain underneath, and then we have the Oriental style one, which is more of a like fabric style one that has little tassels on it, and then it also has the simple chain on it, and then nothing down here. So there we go. So that's basically what we're working with next. So I'm gonna grab all of these guys, move them over here. I'm gonna make sure that this mask gets applied. So So this one technically is going to be kind of a mixture of this one. I need to rename you. Also, if anybody has any suggestions for stuff to check out when it comes to endurance style bridles or stuff that you'd like to see, I would love to hear about it. Because endurance racing is something I have interest in, but I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to participate. And it's something that, like, regardless of if I ever do get to real life participate in it, I wouldn't want to do any hardcore stuff, by the way. I would just want to be able to do, like, basic races. I just think there's something... I really like endurance racing. I think it's a really cool way to, like, test yourself and your horse and, like, how well you understand your horse. I wouldn't want to do the really, really difficult ones personally. But I think, like, being able to not only push your horse, but not push them beyond their limits, and having that, like, really in-tune understanding of, like, okay, I know we need to do this in order to make it across the finish line and still be healthy when we do so, I think is such a fascinating concept. Like, it makes sure you keep the animal's welfare in mind the entire time you're doing it. And it makes sure that, you know, you and your horse are working as a, you know, as a team, instead of just, I'm just using, I'm just using this poor animal to get my ass across the finish line, which, cough cough, we know what kind of stuff is, like that. Not saying that, like, you know, jockeys are bad, but the whole industry has issues. Okay. So, the no noseband version is gonna need this one's gonna need the headband piece, but there's not gonna be a cheek strap, basically. So we're gonna turn off the color to start with. Let's call this one the Endurance. There we go, Western Endurance. And then for the bridle base, we're gonna get rid of this back part here because that's gonna get replaced by the, oops, because that will be replaced by the the rope bridle, the rope halter. We're also going to get rid of at least this mask, and we're going to delete this bit because we're not going to use that bit. We're going to keep the shank bit for now. Okay, I'm going to keep this brow band like this for now, too, just in case. And then we need you. We're gonna do an awkward combination of these guys. So I'm gonna delete the masks again just to be safe here. Okay, so the reins need to stay, the details need to stay. But basically it just needs to match up better to the actually wait, didn't I? No, I didn't. I did have that. Okay. Ah! Alrighty. That's fine. That's fine. I will work with this. Okay. So we're gonna do that. And we're gonna pull these guys in. I don't think I need the reins for you, do I? Because I already have different reins. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Okay, so the bridle base are gonna need to combine. We'll just call this the brow band for now. Maybe I'll leave it out. Okay, so we have the bridle base. We can get rid of view, and then color-wise, technically the only part of this I need is actually up here. So if we just copy you down, merge you into here, and we can delete this. Turn off the color for now so it stops distracting me. Okay, that gets us a rough starting point. And then let's take a peek at that loping hackamore I made again. Because what we can do is we can grab out parts of this thing. So we won't need these sections. May need those sections. Lines we won't need, reins we won't need. The brow band on this one. Don't need those two. Just need the rope. Okay, so technically speaking, I can just delete. Okay, maybe not quite. There we go. Delete it like that instead. Okay, rope. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually no, maybe we'll leave that in because the way it was. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. This technically hooked up over to this, and it was a very different way. Let me pull this back up. Yeah, so all the bridles I'm looking at, they're more like kind of modern bridles, and they always have a little strap as part of the brow band that helps it so that the halter underneath, whether it's rope or not, stays hooked in. So what we're going to need to do on this thing is we're going to need to make sure... this is going to be interesting. So this part is actually lower down in the reference I had. And then this one also had this where it had the actual proper rope over the head. So this is going to work a little differently. So I don't know how much we can actually reuse of what I already made. That's fine. I can remake it. We have the technology. Okay. So let's go ahead and hide the base to start with, because I probably will have to remake it anyways, so it doesn't really matter. And then let's go and get rid of this. Because technically what we need to do is just really make the rope halter already, plop it down underneath, and then align it with the rest of the bridle. I guess kinda, because the brow band would kind of tug it inwards more, I suppose. Let's go ahead and turn this off because I might have to just use it more as a reference than anything. So let's consider tugging you just out a little more, maybe. Just enough so that we have that space to hook back around that, and then pretty much what needs to happen here is it needs to come back on itself and then have a little spot. This one actually hooks up about there. I had to hook up further in. Yeah, that one was interesting. Okay, so it basically snaps in right about here. So we need a little button bit right there for it to snap back to. Just merge that back down to the brow band. Okay. Let me just color these back in. Debating if I want to do... Where's my halters? I'm debating if I want to do the rope halter right away. Because it is a part of this, so I should probably do that. Those are two very different sized images. Okay, that's fine. Let's edit this a little. Okay, so... That's a different type of tie. I think the second one is the one that I might want to go with for the tie. It looks like that's a bit more of a normal style. Most people do. Is that having it... This is why I wish I had bought a rope halter, personally. But also, all the rope halters they had on sale were like scrunkly little things, like... Oh my goodness, it was so... there was like a whole bunch of them for like $5, but they were like the most crusty ass gross shit. I was like, maybe I'll just wait and buy a better one later. I wish I had looked at the rope halters at the little tax sale thing I went to in April, I think. It's like April or May, where I got like the super duper cheap halter that wasn't too bad. A little crusty, but not as much as the other stuff was. Okay, so yeah, it always has like the knots. Goes down below the neck, it goes down underneath. Some have two. This one has one. Interesting. Most of them have two. I'm probably gonna stick with that. This is one I'm gonna reference. This one just feels a little bit more accurate to me. Okay, let's try to get this horse as closely lined up as possible. I need this up on my other monitor so I can actually see what I'm trying to do. This image is so blurry. Something roughly like that, I think, right? Okay. Roughly something like that. Okay, this is the part that's like the worst to try and view because, oh my goodness, I can't see shit. So I might have to use the other reference to figure out this under the neck knot. Or not neck, but under the head knot. I'm just gonna make a mark like this and then we'll figure it out. And then this should turn into a little loop. And it's technically a double loop down there. Okay, let's see if I can get a better knot view here. Okay, so that was for this spot here. I think I got that about roughly right, so we don't have to worry about that one. This is the one that I'm having trouble with. It's right down here. Good enough. Okay, so I can't see it under the horse's chin in this image. We can in this image, but it's so hard to look at. And then I did a very basic knot in that one. Let's see if I have any other images that better show the under the neck or under the chin knot. A lot of these generally do not seem to be very easily visible underneath there. Let's try this one as a reference instead. Of course, it's still very hard to actually make out what's going on here. So let's try something roughly feeling like that. So we do need 2 sets of lines here. I might try to just hide this underneath the frickin' neck or something, because, like, oh my god. I keep saying neck, underneath the jaw. Jesus. I might hide this underneath the jaw just because this is, very hard to draw. I kinda want to cheat it. Just a little bit. Okay. So I think that roughly gets it. Pulling you over. Yeah, because this one has a higher up thing. Okay, I might have to improve the knots later because these are just looking silly at this point. I think that does look a bit more like a knot though, I gotta say. This one does not feel like it improved very much at all. Okay, that feels a little bit better. That's based off of one of the diagrams I have for a rope bridle, and that's already starting to feel slightly better to me. Okay, how is this lining up with our endurance bridle here? Not bad, not bad. Okay. So we won't need as big of a gap in that thing, technically speaking. I could probably tug it back a little ways if this is like about how thick it's gonna be. It's gonna have a little bit of wiggle room on it just because it is like a halter, of course, but I don't need to be that big of a gap. I don't really plan on having stuff moving too much either on the horse's head. I want most things to be pretty stationary, other than like maybe if like the horse's like facial movements shifted around because it's gonna be parented to it, but it's not like I don't want tack being able to shimmy around on the horse's head. Like it's not gonna be loose. It won't look tight, but it's not gonna be like able to shift back and forth and stuff because you gotta think about it as a 3D model. So okay, so there's our test run there. I'm just gonna delete these guys because I don't need them. So let's go ahead and give this a genuine shot. I'm just gonna put this in as a reference so I can see where stuff is landing in comparison. Okay, so far so good. So the knot's getting positioned a lot lower on this particular one, but I'm fine with that. I might end up having to edit the loping hackamore pretty soon anyways. So Okay, that feels a little bit high, I think. Maybe? I'm kind of wondering if maybe I should just tug it backwards a little ways. Just pull this back. Yeah, I think that could work. My horse never lines up to anything. Okay, I think that works okay. And then let's erase through here and just make like a very awkward connection. Let's do that. Okay, I think that works pretty well. Let's duplicate this baby. Tug it down into here. So now we have base to go off of. And then rename that halter base. Fix the name of it in here too. Okay, so that's a start. Works a little bit better too with this thing. Okay, so basically this is supposed to sit underneath everything on the bridle. I'm not missing anything. bridle base needs to be hidden underneath these segments. I think that works. So far, so good. Okay. I missed a spot. I think that part is... Yeah, that would be a hole, technically speaking. Some of these places where it gets really tight is kind of troublesome. Do we have any other spots that need the dark brown? I don't think so. Okay. So we're good there. We just need the rope color. Okay, I think we're good. So there we go. There's the Western styled endurance bridle. So the idea behind that is for like people who favor more of a Western tack set, but still want to do endurance riding. Or you could use it for anything else, technically, if it is part of whatever game or whatever I might be including it in. These are more geared towards the idea of endurance, but you could technically use these with anything. So here's the Western endurance, and then this one's going to be the snap-on bit, and then we're also going to have the bitless side pull. Hi Clay, welcome to the stream. I don't know how long I'll be going tonight, just because tired, but I hope you enjoy it while it lasts. So we got through some of the Western bridles. So just to quickly go over what we got here. So English was the first one we worked on. We got the, apologies if I pronounced anything wrong, Cavison. I'm probably saying it wrong. We got the flash. We got the no noseband. We got the figure 8 and the racing shadow roll. So those are the English ones I did previously. Some of those on camera, some off camera. And then for the Western, we're going to be reworking some of these guys. But we got the Bosal Hackmore, the Loping, which I checked with my friend. I might need to rename this just to be like a, to say like a, oh god, what was it called? So it starts with an F. I need to look this back up. What were you called? Fyodor? I think it's Fyodor. I might be pronouncing it wrong. But we may call it that because it's technically using the Bosal hookup, but with a rope underneath it to kind of pull this down. And then apparently I'll need to adjust the height of this anyways, so I might adjust the line work of that. This one's getting replaced. This is going to be the mechanical, and I'm thinking about going with a different bridle style, so we'll get back to that. The earhole shank got done today. So this is finally fully filled out. I think it's looking very good. And then we have the no nose, no brow shank, which apparently with the shank bit, this doesn't really make sense. So in that case, I might change this one out as well, or I might just give it a brow band, which we kind of just did with this one. So I might actually just basically kind of scrape this one and put it in here. So it's very similar to the English one, but instead it has a brow band to go with the shank bit. So we'll see. So endurance-wise, we just made this one the Western-styled endurance bridle, and then we're going to be working on the snap-on bit next. But I also got the rope halter done, so here's what this looks like. And we're going to duplicate you. So it actually isn't going to have a bridle base, it's actually going to have a bit strap, I guess you could call it. The brow band will be part of the halter, technically, so we'll have a halter base, a bit, the bit strap, and then the reins. So we'll delete the reins. And we're going to delete all of these parts too, because they won't be in use. And then the color is going to have to get deleted as well, because that won't be in use either. And then the bit will also, its mask deleted, and that part deleted. Okay, so we got fresh from scratch set up now for the snap-on bit. So this one's going to be a completely different style of halter. Endurance riding snap-on bit with an English bit. Lovely work. I can see Western influence even before you said a word, and I don't know a thing about bridles. Thank you. I'm working on cleaning the house while I watch here, so I'm not pressed for time here. Loving all the bridles so far. I had no idea there were so many types. Thank you. Yeah, no, there is a impressive amount of variety when it comes to tack. Like, I mean, people have been riding horses for centuries, so not really that surprising, but also it's like, you don't really think about it until you deep dive into it, and it's like, I don't know, I mean, I don't actually watch a lot of stuff with horses in it in terms of media. Like, obviously I play quite a few games, but games have to keep things relatively simple. So in general, like with media, you don't see a huge variety because typically a lot of people who even know how to ride a horse are just going to put them in like the same tack. So it's always going to be like very standard stuff, unless you're watching like a very specific style of riding. But even then, it's going to be pretty generalized for a lot of those things. Like, you know, you're watching a Western movie, it's going to be very basic Western tack. You're not usually going to see stuff that's more specialized or more specific to a time period, even sometimes. And if you're lucky, you might see medieval tack in a fantasy movie or like a medieval setting movie and stuff. But again, depends on how much care they put into it and stuff. So, but yeah, no, it's crazy. And I've been talking to a friend about like different types of tack, especially with like the bit and stuff, because one thing I was talking about earlier when I started the stream is I don't ride a bit. Like, I haven't ridden in years, and when I did ride, I barely used one. I maybe rode like a handful of times in a bit, and the rest of my time that I learned how to ride was with a Bosal hackamore. So it was all like nose pressure, not mouth pressure. So for me, bits, like, I've always known about bits, but I've never used one. So like the actual intention and the way that you interact with a horse with one, completely foreign to me as somebody who's into horses. So yeah, no, I hate the whole Google search stuff, because it's like, you see a lot of companies that do horse games do that, and then the bad side effect of that, and I've seen this happen with quite a few, is you can end up with a lot of like really bad practices as part of your artwork. So like, for example, you know, I've seen people talking recently about like how Star Stables had stuff where they've been including questionable animations because, well, you know, a lot of the animators, they're not horse people. They do have horse people as part of it, but not everybody is. And when you have people who don't fully understand what they're looking at, they just know this is a horse thing, so therefore I'm going to use it. Well, they could very easily implement stuff that isn't actually a good thing, and that can include the way that like certain animations play out or certain types of tack are used and so on and so forth. And it's like, as somebody who is interested in horses but not super involved with, like, trying to think of how to phrase this. Like, I obviously am very interested in horses. That's why I dedicate this whole freaking world building project to it. But I have had very limited opportunities to ride since I stopped. And I was pretty young when I stopped too. Like, I was in my teens. And I wanted to continue riding, but it's been a combination of no money, no place to go, and overweight. I will not get on a horse and possibly bust the poor thing's back because I'm like 50 to 100 pounds over the weight limit for that particular animal. You know, so it's like, it's been a constant struggle of, it's like, if I got my weight down, I'd still be having issues with like money and finding a location. Because before, I was living in a metropolitan area. I would have had to go hours out of the city just to find a place to ride at. So it just wasn't viable for me. Now I live a lot closer to a lot more farms with the new place I live at, but I still have the weight struggle, and I still have to very carefully balance how much money I'm spending on these kinds of things. So while I could, yes, technically afford paying for like riding lessons right now, I still have to get my weight fixed so that, you know, I don't have any issues with that, because not a lot of people around here have draft horses, and even then I ride westerns. So with that kind of stuff, you have to be very mindful of how much weight you're putting on the animal's back, and western saddles are much heavier than English saddles. So it's like, I would have to very carefully calculate how much weight I add in addition to the saddle and make sure that I'm not going to cause issues with that. But yeah, so anyways, that was a bit of a tangent, but the basic thing I'm trying to get at is I haven't ridden in ages, and I don't know anything about bits. I don't know very much about English riding either because, like I said, I ride Western. So that kind of stuff is like very, very new to me. Because I just never was really personally interested in English riding. I was always more of a Western person. I appreciated the idea of Western riding. I liked the idea of having a more like comfortable, relaxed experience typically. I did actually learn how to do some barrel racing and pole bending, but it wasn't my favorite thing. I actually was much more I much more preferred doing trail riding. I was much more of a trail person. Okay, so we're gonna rough this baby out and see how this comes out. Make sure I actually make sure that this roughly lines up to the actual horse head I'm working with and not just vaguely to the horse head I am looking at. I'm just gonna do this. Okay, so this connects up down here. And then basically this comes down and around like so, and then it actually hooks up like a normal bridle with the little square bits here. Oh my god, not a bridle, halter. And then this goes up and around. I'm gonna have to see where this is supposed to sit compared to where I put the cavison, or however you say it. Every time I say that, somebody tells me I'm saying it wrong, and I'm like, I don't know. I need to look it up and stop making excuses. Okay, so we have like a little ring here, which is where the bit basically attaches to. And then you have a strap with another buckle here to adjust, hopefully, the length, I would assume. Make sure that fits. And then we could probably just pull in the egg butt snaffle we already made and just use that in some capacity. I'm gonna have to figure out how to make this thing fit. Okay, so then you have the snaffle, which then hooks up to the reins, and I've been having the reins droop like this, so that's fine. And then this part of the halter comes down into here, and then this turns into a blurry mess. I can't see it because the reins are in the way. What do we got here? There is like a section, like there's a thing here, a ring here for being able to hook a lead rope on, so that's good. And then, oh, this is very confusing to look at. I might have to see if I can find alternate angles of this thing. This basically comes in and hooks up to its own ring of sorts. And you go back out the other side as well. Yeah, something roughly like that. I got some better photos, I think. I don't want to use this bit, but this is a good side view of what I'm looking at because the reins don't get in the way in this photo. So we're gonna ignore the bit on this one just because, like I said, that's not a bit I want to personally use. But it does get me an idea. A better idea of what's going on down here. I wish I had these things in person. It's so much easier to work with like an object in person. Like be able to feel it in your hands and how it like moves and interacts with the different parts of it, you know? I always appreciate that, especially as a 3D artist. Eventually it turns into such a blurry mess you can't see shit. Fantastic. Well, I think there's a buckle down there. Somewhere. I think somewhere there's a buckle. Okay, so that gets us a very rough idea of what we're trying to look at here. Not a great idea, but a rough one. So this one hooks it up even higher, but also this one has a very different bit from what I want to use, so I don't think I'm going to use that as a reference. Well, this one also hooks it up higher, and then this one uses a ring style. This one has it lower. What am I... My original art had it pretty high up, too. So maybe we should scoot it at least a bit higher on there. Like, now's the time to make these fixes. So, let's scoot you up. The idea is not to make this like super taut. Like you just want to have... want to leave a little bit of slack because it's just supposed to go across the cheek. Don't want it too slack, but you want it just enough so it just acts as like a normal strap. Something like that. This thing is not easy to figure out. Something else I'm noticing is there's like a little metal piece here between the two sections. I didn't notice that before. Yep, this one has it too. So these ones just have a straight strap down. Put like a strap here too. So it has a strap there. Put a strap here. Like so. So something pretty much roughly like that, I'd say. So the rope halter sat a little lower on the face. Where did our other stuff sit? So Cavison was a bit higher. Bosel was a bit higher. These guys didn't have anything. Okay, so somewhere around where it is right now isn't too terrible. Oh boy, this is a mess of a halter. So what I technically want to do with this thing is... I want to make the halter base so that when I make the halter references, we can see the halter by itself. And then on top of it is going to be the snap-on bit. So technically the snap-on bit's going to be its entirely own separate set of sections. So it'll be the bit and the bit strap, basically. Which, speaking of, if we're gonna do a bit, we're doing this English style, so let's get ourselves one of the English bits. And maybe the English rain while we're at it, too, because we'll need those. Okay. I wonder if I made these bits a little too big. That might be something I might have to consider going back and adjusting. It does feel kind of huge. I'll sort that out later. Okay, so we do have a bit here, and then the bit strap would basically go kind of something like this. That feels so thin in comparison now. Okay, maybe I need to make that a little bigger. Just a little bigger. Try to make it at least as big as the standard English stuff. That bit feels huge. Okay, we're gonna ignore the bit for now. Oh god, it feels huge though. It looks huge. Okay, we're gonna ignore it. Okay, so the halter itself. Now this is gonna be fun. I need to... Oh god, I need to recreate like the way a halter connects up to the different pieces. Ah. What did I sign myself up for? Okay, so let's use this little guy just as a reference. I've actually drawn a halter before. I had a piece of art I still am trying to finish from like 2 frickin' years ago that I did a halter on. And I've been stubborn about it because I was trying to do shading on it, and I suck ass at shading if you didn't know. So That's why you haven't seen me do a lot of 2D streams, because I don't do shading. I need to learn how to do shading better. So I have been bulking at actually finishing the stupid thing because I am really shit at shading. There we go. Okay, that gets me like the rough size. Okay. I'm gonna keep you just in case I need you again. Okay, that gets us a very rough size of this part of the halter. So let's turn you back on and line you up. Turn it down. Ooh. Ooh, that's a little, just a touch hard to see against the other one. Not that helpful. Still not that helpful. Make you a little stronger. There we go. Okay, let's hide the color sections. I don't need to mess with you right now. And then do a little something something like this. I might call it quits though after this one. I don't know if I want to do the side pull in addition to this right now. Getting up to 2 hours. And I am tired and I haven't had dinner yet, so I don't really want to like pause stream and then come back after I've had dinner, you know? I don't want to make you guys wait for that. I might put this on its own layer, to be honest, just in case. I'm probably gonna need this shape again, to be honest, so... Let's put you on your own thing. I don't know what else to call it. Let's maybe scoot you down just a touch. Okay, so far so good. I don't know if this is gonna be a terrible idea trying to do this from like the start of this. Terrible at shading too, 'tis why I stick to cartoon art style. Yeah. I like my stylized stuff, but I do want to still be able to show light and shadow. I just need to practice it a lot more. Dang it, I always have the wrong layer selected. Yeah, I just gotta practice a lot more. I'm gonna use the English Bridle to try and help me sort out a better alignment of this thing. Yeah, it's like, I know I'm able to do it, you know? Like, I've done it. But it's just like, I just don't have the time or the energy to practice something that is really difficult for me right now. So it's unfortunately been left to the wayside. And I mean, it's like, the real thing is, it's like, every time I want to work on something, I want to work on a big project, and a big project is not the time when I should be working on that. I need to practice it with small things, like just trying to do like a cube or sphere or something with light. and shadow, and it's like, I don't. I fucking don't, and I'm stupid like that because I'm stupid and stubborn about it. So yeah, it's something I need to work on, 100%. Because I've produced some really good art. I mean, if you've looked at my DeviantArt or my Tumblr, like... okay, my back's starting to hurt. I think I'm gonna have to stop after this. Thanks to my friend Ruth, like, I have produced some really impressive pieces that I'm very proud of, and I'm very happy with. But the thing is, it's like, I never would have gotten there without Ruth, and I mean, I never would get anywhere with this stuff without Ruth anyways, but, like, the difference between those pieces and what I want to do is being able to do it by myself. I want to, like, be able to take what she taught me and then apply it without having to constantly ask, did I do it right? Did I do it right? Did I do it right? Like, I want to be satisfied with my stuff without having to get constant feedback. Like, feedback is good. I would never want to stop asking for feedback, but I don't want to have to, like, have every single piece I make be like, did I do it right? You know, I want to feel confident in what my art looks like and not just be like, did I get it? Like, for example, like, what I'm doing right now, like, I'm asking for feedback, but not so much on, like, the, style of what I'm doing. Like, I'm happy with my style right now with this. I'm not happy with my style in general. Who is? But like, the stuff I've been doing for, like, the horse art and whatnot, I've been pretty happy with it overall. But with like, my general art, like, my human art and stuff, like, I still struggle a lot with that. I have to work on my shading really, really badly. But I need to work on a lot of things, so it kind of just gets put on the wayside, honestly. I think this is about roughly the same width, so I think we're good. Yeah, I want to get to a point where, like, I can look at my art and be like, yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this piece came out. And, like, obviously still feel comfortable taking criticism not criticism, taking a critique or feedback, but, like, not feeling like I constantly need it to, like, do anything, you know? Whereas, like, right now, it's like, anything that involves shading, shadow, light, etc., I always feel like I need critique on it. I need help with it. I don't feel like I can do it by myself. Yes. Yes, I want to be able to feel proud of it. I just want to be able to look at it and feel proud of what I'm looking at. Like, I want to be able to be, like, satisfied by just making something without having to constantly feel the need to double check that I didn't mess it up. I'm not the kind of person who's heavily motivated by, like, how do I put this? Like, I don't need people to constantly tell me I'm doing a good job, or, like, have, like, I'm not heavily motivated by praise. I am motivated by praise. I don't want to make it sound like I'm like, I don't need anybody. No, I do. Honestly, praise and, like, interest in my art is what got me to actually start doing 2D again, because I wasn't doing a lot of 2D art for several years after I graduated. Like, I'd still do the occasional piece here and there, but the predominant amount of my work was mostly 3D, because that was the thing I felt confident in at the time. And I still feel pretty confident in my 3D. I know I got a lot to do and a lot to learn with it, and I have many, many ways I can improve with it, but I have a different level of confidence with my 3D than I do with my 2D. And when I was still, like, about 2020, when I was still working at my old job, I did not feel comfortable with my 2D art. I felt like everything I worked on was like, it was just satisfying. I felt like I was a shitty artist. I just didn't feel good about who I was and what I did. And then I started like working on just trying to do a single piece a day, and I didn't know COVID was gonna hit us, you know, because who the fuck ever planned for that? I just started working on things, and while I was still in office at my old job, I'd show it off to the people I worked with, and I would get really nice feedback. Like, they wouldn't tell me things to improve on, they would just say, oh, I really like that, and then, like, a couple people who were, like, actually interested in seeing my next pieces, like, they'd ask after it and stuff, and I'd show them, and that was what was getting me motivated, was just people being interested in my stuff, like, not caring if it was good or bad, just liking it, you know, and that was, like, really, really motivating for me at the time when I felt like just a really shitty artist when it came to 2D, like, illustration and stuff. But yeah, it's like, I don't want popularity, if I'm being honest. Like, I mean, it kind of sucks that, like, I don't really get very much interaction, but I'm just happy to have any. I'm just happy to put my stuff out there, even if I keep putting it on unlisted because I'm scared to get popular or people notice my stuff. I'm not ready. I might take my stuff off of unlisted someday, but for now I'm just like, no, I'm good. But like I have some stuff out there. Like I have my DeviantArt out there and my Tumblr art and stuff, and I get a little bit of recognition on those, mostly from friends, and I'm happy with that, genuinely. I'm a very easily contented person. Like, you just give me like my favorite food and some good friends and some nice entertainment and a good home to live in. That's really all I want. I don't need like 5 houses and 20 cars and like fucking yachts and shit. Like, I just want good company, good food, and a good place to stay with some good entertainment. That's really all I ask for. And I think that's what most people should just be able to ask for. Does this look stupid? I feel like this looks stupid. Yeah, this kind of looks stupid. I'm like trying to make this look like a strap of leather, and I feel like it's just not coming out the way I want it to. Yeah, I'm really excited for my birthday because I'm taking the day off of work. I'm gonna go buy my favorite pizza the day before when they have it on discount. They got a Tuesday discount. And I think I might pick up some glass bottle cream soda because I love that shit. Oh my god. I was thinking about getting cream soda, and then I realized, oh, wait, it's my fucking birthday. I could just get the good shit. I don't drink. For anybody who doesn't know, I don't drink alcohol, so that's the closest I'll get to drinking beer. So, cream soda, I'm really excited. I want to get that. And I might, like, make some cookies and shit, too. And I just want some good food for my birthday. And then I'm gonna stay at home. I might hang out with some friends who don't work during my normal hours. And then afterwards, hopefully spend some time with my friends who do. Yeah. And I'll probably go out to eat with my family, of course, at some point, too. Popularity is overrated. Social media has really ruined our perception of numbers. Oh my god, no kidding. I freaking hate it. If you're in a stream and you've got 12 views, it means you've got 12 people enjoying hanging out with you. But online, 12 followers is suddenly a point of mockery because not enough people somehow. I know, exactly. It's ridiculous. And then it's like, stuff like Twitch pushes so hard for like affiliate and partnership to be like these ridiculous levels. Like, it was a slog just getting to the point of getting affiliate with 50 followers. And it's like, obviously not 50 people are watching me right now, you know? Like, I haven't seen anybody who joined me back then. like active on my Discord or in any of my streams and stuff, except for obviously a handful of people, most of them friends, which I'm cool with. I don't mind. Like if people just want to kind of follow me and forget it, that doesn't bother me at all. But it's still like, you know, again, it's like, I don't really care. I only wanted to go for affiliate because one, I thought it was a cool challenge. Like, wow, can I get 50 people to at least feel interested enough to follow me? And in what I do. Now, obviously, like, I don't keep up with any specific stuff. Like, most of the people who followed me was because of Sentry. Straight up. Sentry was new. It was cool. I was pretty okay at the game, and I would like to think I was pretty funny or interesting to watch. I wasn't super good at the game, but I was good enough. And that was enough to start drawing people in, and they'd find me through my username on the game, you know, so it made sense. And now I'm playing a lot of single-player stuff, and nobody follows me unless it's a game that they follow on Twitch and they come to check it out. But a lot of those people don't stick around. They don't stick around for, like, sometimes even the full game. They definitely don't usually stick around for the rest of the games I try to play. And again, I don't really mind personally. Like, I'm not trying to make money off this. I have a full-time frickin' job. Like, I ain't got time to try and figure out how to make money off of Twitch, and that's stressful. That's really fucking stressful. No, thank you. But yeah, so it's kind of where I end up at. Oh, you know what? I could steal the band off of that one bridle I just made. And like the stuff I'm doing right now, with like working on this, I'm not working on this for anybody in particular. Like, I mean, I like the general idea of like someday releasing my stuff so other horse people can enjoy it, but like I'd say 90% of this is for me, you know. This is a me project, which is why I don't like being super vocal about it. It's why I unlist my videos so people can't search them up and stuff. I just don't want attention on this until I feel ready to have attention on it, you know. I don't either have I tried quite a few of them. Trust me, you're not missing much. Oh, I'm guessing you're talking about like alcohol or something, maybe. I know the stream's behind. Oh yeah, you sent little beer emojis. That's so tiny, I can't see it. Also, I didn't know your birthday was coming up. Happy birthday. Thank you! Yeah, it's next Wednesday. So I'm excited. We might go out to Applebee's, I think. We usually go out to Outback for birthday stuff. We went to Outback for my dad's birthday and for my birthday, and I think we went out for my mom's birthday as well. But my friend, when he came to visit me this summer, he brought me to Applebee's, and I haven't had Applebee's in like so many years. I literally can't remember the last time I had it before this year. And they had like some kind of like Alfredo pasta dish or something. Oh my god, it was really, really good. Like, it was so filling. I barely got through like a quarter of the dish before I had to take the rest home. And I was like chowing down on that shit for like a couple days after. It was really, really good. And they had like this like it was like called like the Rockin' Poppin' Shirley Temple, and it was like some strawberry like pop rock drink. And I was like, oh my god. It was just really fun. So I kind of want to go back and bring my parents with me this time. I don't have very many local friends, at least not ones that I'm actively talking to yet. So yeah, unfortunately. But I got my family, which is nice, and I'm living a lot closer to everybody, so when we go up for Christmas stuff up north, it's a lot easier to do. But yeah, anyways, I'm excited. I don't actually like eating out very much. Fun fact about me. There's a lot of reasons why, one of them being the fact I don't have a gallbladder. So my body kind of freaks out a little bit sometimes with food. So it can be a little bit hard for me to enjoy stuff like like eating out in general, just because I'm always like, I always gotta be a little paranoid about if my body's gonna be like, hey, you wanna like, you know, die? And I'm like, no. Not literally, more like just be stuck in the freaking bathroom for ages, and I fucking hate it. But yeah. So, anyways, the Alfredo dish was great. If anybody wants to go to Applebee's, I'm not sponsored. It was just really tasty. And I was like, I really love Outback, but we always go out to Outback, and like my birthday, my dad's birthday, and my mom's birthday are all very close together. My dad has a September birthday too. My mom has an early October birthday. So it's like out back, like back to back, you know, and I'm like, well, you know what? Why don't we check out Applebee's for mine? Because I had a really good meal. It was a nice experience, really tasty, blah, blah, blah. Like the waitress was an absolute sweetheart. So I'm thinking about going back for that. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you find me interesting enough to stick around for. Yeah, like, for me, I really like smaller streamers because, like, one, I hate when the chat just explodes. Like, I can't stand it when the chat is just, like, flying by, especially when they have chat on screen. I've been debating showing chat on screen, but also at the same time, like, I'm kind of, like, about it because if nobody shows up, the chat doesn't move. So it's like, why even show the chat, you know? It's just me talking to myself and hoping somebody eventually watches the video later. So I'm like, maybe not for now. I mean, I haven't even built any of the stuff I wanted to build for, like, updating my stream stuff. I'm not in any rush. The streaming is, again, very much a thing that I'm doing mostly for myself, for fun. It makes me stay busy. Like, it keeps me stuck on, like, you know, not stuck. I'm trying to think of how I want to phrase this. Like, it gets me through some games because I'm really bad about finishing games. Like, for example, I tried replaying BioShock earlier this year, and I was trying to stream it for my friends, but my friends can get very busy, so I stopped playing it when people weren't available anymore. And I was like, well, shit, I still want to finish playing it, but I feel weird, like, just trying to make time for this, because it's like I have all this other shit I want to do, right? And then I was like, well, I really, really want to stream this. I keep talking about how much I want to stream this, so why don't I just stream it? But I wanted to, like, pick the right time. It's that whole freaking neurospicy bullshit of it's like, it has to be perfect. And it's like, no, it doesn't, you dipshit. So that's why I started streaming, because I'm like, I've just been sitting on this idea of it's like, I have, like, several different things I want to do with my streams. Some of them are working, some of them aren't. Let's just do BioShock. Let's just do a freaking marathon of BioShock, because all I do is stream once a freaking week on games, usually. So let's just do BioShock. And then doing the Thursday art streams has been something I think I've mentioned before that I've wanted to do for a while. Not specifically Thursdays, but just world-buildy, artsy-fartsy stream stuff, because I need to get my butt in gear on working on these things, because it's like, sometimes I'll be like super up for doing this stuff, and other times I'll just be like, I'll do it later, and then later never comes, you know? So, yeah, it's like, I need something to motivate me, and it's like, even if nobody shows up, even if I only get like an hour and a half's worth of time put into something, that's more than nothing, you know? Like, it's better than nothing. But yeah, anyways, going back to the streamer stuff, like, I don't care for big streamers, just because it's like, it can be really annoying or distracting sometimes, either with like the chat flying by, or like people just being stupid or inappropriate, or just like, you don't get that personalized experience either. It's like, not that I'm trying to have like the parasocial relationship nonsense, but just more like when I talk to people who have smaller streams, there's a bigger chance of you being able to have like a nice conversation and like just being able to hear the person being, you know, like interesting, fun to talk to, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But anyways, it's just a more fun experience. Now for me though, like the same reason why streams could be a bit exhausting for me. Like watching streamers and interacting with streamers and not just lurking can be very tiring as well. So I have to be careful with that stuff. It's why I stopped following a lot of well, I didn't stop following, I just turned off notifications. So most of the people who I follow are just friends. But like also a lot of those friends don't stream very frequently anyways, so it's like a lot easier to manage. I used to follow well, I'd still follow, but I used to more frequently watch a Minecraft streamer who he used to be really decently sized. Like, he wasn't, like, big, but he had, like, a really good following, like, enough to get a partnership. And his stuff's kind of chilled out, so, like, on average, he'll have about, like, maybe between, like, 10 to 20 people in a stream at a time. Just for his average streams, when he's not doing anything crazy. And that was really nice, because it's like most of the people who are watching don't talk in chat. So it's like the majority of the viewers are just, you know, just, well, possibly bots, but majority of the viewers are hopefully just people who are just lurking. And then you get like your handful of regulars who talk in the chat, or sometimes a newbie who comes up and just is there. And it was so nice. It was just a really relaxed and enjoyable experience. But then it was like, for me, it would be something that could get very, I don't want to say stressful, but just tiring, because I get kind of stuck on trying to pay attention to everything at once, with like talking to people, paying attention to what people are saying, staying alert of the conversation. And it's hard for me to like zone some of that stuff out. So it's like, if a stream started in the middle of workday, I would either be watching and get really distracted at work, or I would completely miss like half the stream, and there was like no in between. There was no like, I could enjoy the stream but also not have to not get distracted, you know. And then again, it's the same issue of, it's like I wouldn't have the ability to just pause the stream out, like if I was either at work or off of work and stuff, and then that made it more difficult for me, because then it was like, oh, you know, if my brain isn't exactly handling it, it's like, if I pause the stream, I'm gonna like lose context, you know, it's not gonna start back up. And you'd say like, oh, well, that's why you watch VODs and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I could watch VODs, but like sometimes these streams are like 5 hours long, and it's like, I'm sorry, I don't want to watch a VOD, you know. It's like, that's 5 hours long every single time. So it just became like easier to just stop watching the streams for me. I don't know, I'm just kind of rambling at this point. Anyways, I still enjoy streams, I just don't really watch them anymore, because it just became something that was just a little too intensive for me. Why do I have the brow band selected? I was drawing on the wrong layer again, Kronk. God damn it. There we go. Fix you. Okay. But yeah, just, yeah, watching streams was a lot for me. Especially because sometimes these would be like multiple days a week streams, depending on the person. And it's like, for me, I already have a hard enough time maintaining my 2 days a week streams, and they're only for 3 hours. So I can't imagine doing like streaming for a living. Next Wednesday's the 18th. Yeah, thank you. I'd appreciate it if you do. Yeah, it's one of the big reasons I don't like big streamers. I always feel like just another face out in the crowd, so I don't bother talking because nobody's gonna notice I said anything. I'd much rather be a recognized member of a small community than just another voice in an endless tide of chat. Yeah, because it was like, I was watching like one of the bigger streamers, and I never went to the big streams, but there was like a secret side account I joined, and even then there was enough people who were aware of it that it was just kind of like ridiculous trying to get any sort of talking in. Like, it was still nice, it was a nice experience, but it was like there was still enough people that like there was a pretty decent chat going on, you know. So it was just like yeah, I just, not my thing. So I didn't unfollow because I still liked the person, but it just didn't really personally work for me. So I just turned off notifications and left it at that, because I was like, I don't mind it. I don't mind being followed. Like, I don't mind following this. I just don't want to. I just don't want to still have the notifications on it, you know? I think that works. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, I've considered doing more streaming of stuff that's a bit more popular, but I don't really care, personally. Like, I've like considered stuff like, oh, well, I could get into streaming Star Stable, I could get into streaming Minecraft. Like, Star Stable would be very small, like, it'd be a more safe thing to stream, but again, though, with Star Stable, because it's like a children's game, I'd have to stop swearing, you know, because I'd be attracting kids, and I don't really want to do that. And for Minecraft, kind of the same problem. Obviously, there's a lot of Minecraft streamers who do swear, but you're gonna be very likely attract children, and you shouldn't be swearing around that stuff. So it's like, I will do occasional Minecraft streams. I would really love to get back into working on my little Halloween stuff so I can wrap that up with my friends someday, but it's so freaking hard. And then Minecraft versions keep changing, so it's like not a lot of people want to go back to 1.16 like I do. Like, I stay on older versions of Minecraft. I may not stay on them for like ever, but like I still play my 1.7 packs like once in a blue moon, honestly. I still really like those. And I have like ideas to eventually do like a 1.7 series at some point. As well as some of the other older series. It doesn't feel exhausting around you, and I really like that. I don't feel like I'm obligated to say anything in the chat. I'm just hanging out with a friend. Aw, thank you! I'm so glad to hear that! It does honestly get so much easier not following along. I have so many streamers who I watch on YouTube, but I just don't join them on stream because there's so much content and so many people watching that I'm just not interested. Yeah, no, same. Like, there's some people who, like, I may or may not, like, be subscribed to, but, like, I'll watch some of their streams. Like, I'll usually, like, either put it on in the background or, like stream VODs on YouTube. I'll put it going in the background, or, like, I'll skip through it and check out, like, what it was like and stuff. Like, for example, like, there's this one British YouTuber who I watch, who I mostly watch, his, like, edited content, because that's what I prefer. I really like edited content because I don't really want to be there for, like, ages and ages and ages, like, trying to wait through a slog of, like, stuff. But he does occasionally do, live streams, and I enjoy those too. So I don't usually catch the live streams. I usually watch the, stream VODs. I guess they're just videos on there, but yeah. But yeah, I usually catch the stuff after the fact, which is still pretty fun. But yeah, it definitely varies from person to person, what they offer, how they do their streaming. So I totally get that. It's like, I've really wanted to do edited videos, but I have videos I need to edit that aren't even stuff I want to just upload as, like, content. It's just editing that I want for myself, and I can't get on top of that because I just don't have any time. It's like, I have other things I want to do, and at the end of the day, it's like I keep recording stuff, and I need to upload it, but if I want to upload it, I should edit it, but then it's like, if I edit it, it's going to take me ages, and I need to get better editing software, because I have access to Premiere, but I'm too stubborn to take time to learn it, and the editing software I was using made me pay for it again, because I accidentally upgraded it, and it's also shitty-ass software. It's really shitty. And there's a couple new, or not, there's not new, but there's a couple free software I'm looking at, but I just haven't had time to sit down and try it, nor the patience to, because as much as I love editing, it's so hard to just make time to do it, because it's always something. It's always like, okay, I'm just tired from work, I'm gonna go stream, I have friends to hang out with, and it's like a lot of the time with editing, I need to focus on it, or I need to be able to, you know, hear it. So it's really, really hard to do that kind of stuff, just on a regular basis. It's hard to find time for it. You have to make time for it. And it sucks because it's like, there's some editing that I really love. And it's like, I know with like editing, you almost can't be the content creator really, because it just takes so much time. And if you are editing and the content creator, you need to do it full time. I'm never going to be able to do this stuff full time. I'm not interested in doing it full time. I'm not good enough to do it full time. At least not yet. I don't know if I ever will be. And like, it takes so much time and effort, and you need to be like somebody that people really like. And one thing that really annoys me is like, I don't like showing my face. I don't actually usually enjoy seeing other people's faces on camera. I'm perfectly fine in person. I don't mind interacting with people in person, but I also can't see my face in person, so that helps. But yeah, like, I have a weird thing. It's not like a phobia. I don't even know what to describe it as. But I just have a weird brain thing where, like, I have issues with looking at my own face.
mostly in cameras. And then I don't really like seeing other people's faces unless I'm like directly looking at them in person. So it's like, as long as somebody's not staring straight into the camera most of the time, I'm usually good with like YouTubers having it. It still makes me a little bit uncomfy, but it's usually not that bad, you know, because most of the time people aren't staring straight into the camera, which is so creepy. And when they do, a lot of the time it's like for a bit, you know, it's like haha funny things. So I don't mind that. But God, what was I going with this for? And, oh yes, basically, because humans like seeing each other's faces, most people prefer content creators, be it like a streamer or, you know, like a person who makes videos of other types, blah, blah, blah. Basically, any type of content creation, people like being able to see your face when it comes to this kind of stuff. They don't usually like just hearing a voice, and it really sucks because that makes it even harder for somebody who doesn't want to show their face to kind of take off. And I'm just kind of like, you know, obviously I've just accepted that. I don't care because I would rather not show my face because that just makes me uncomfortable. So, you know, I am fine with it. But it does mean that like that would be something that would be a massive detriment for me if I did ever want to actually become full-time. It's really, really hard to do this stuff and make like a decent living off of it if you don't have your face visible. I'm trying to like figure out what I'm doing here with some of these things. I did have the details tab here. Okay, there we go. I need this back. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I'm gonna stop after this, honestly. So let's get this one done. Okay, so holes. Just gonna delete you. Oh wait, no, I don't want to delete... I don't want to delete this one, I want to delete that one. Okay. I'm just trying to make this just a touch thicker. Just a wee bit thicker. But yeah, some of the stuff I want to eventually be doing is like, for like the art streamy stuff, unless I, you know, get enough balls to actually do this as like as a third stream. I'd like to do game design streams eventually. I'm just nervous about that because, I'm still learning a lot with game design, and I don't know how interested people would be watching me trying to do something I'm just learning. So it might be a very long time before I ever actually attempted it, because I'd want to make sure I at least know how to, like, use the engine again. I used to work with Unity, and I'm leaning more and more towards Unreal, so we'll see. I'm not interested in Godot or any of the other ones currently. So Unreal though, and it's like visual scripting. I know Unity has it too, but obviously Unity has certain issues. Unreal's visual scripting has me really interested. Only thing I'm gonna miss is Unity was so freaking easy to upload my models into, and I'm gonna have to see if Unreal's gotten better about that, or if I have to just do something special. Have you considered becoming a PNG tuber? Yes! Yes, I have. Just using a picture or an avatar and having it light up or bounce when you talk. It's not that people want to see your face as much as a face to be put your voice as a face to put the voice to. There are content creators who just draw a character in a couple poses and use that for their channel. Yes, that was actually something I worked on recently-ish, like earlier this year. Where did I put it? Nope. You? Yes, maybe? No, not that. What did I do with it? Did I put it under here? Nope. You? Yes, here it is. That's what this was for. So, I haven't came back to this yet. I haven't come back to this. God, great grammar. I haven't come back to this in a while. The whole main wolf thing was Sam's idea. God, this music's getting loud. Excuse you, I'm trying to talk. I should probably just turn down my own thing because every time I turn it down, it's probably like softer and softer for you guys, but whatever. But yeah, no, the main wolf thing was Sam's idea. So I also draw, I call them anthros, but yes, furries, technically speaking, a lot better than humans. So I was kind of more leaning into that anyways, just because it is something I'm better at. Animals in general are more my specialty. I just really suck at humans, but also I swear I'm like at least a little bit face blind. So, you know, I might have a reason for it. I don't know. I don't know how you test face blindness. I know I'm not completely face blind because I can still recognize people like my parents. I know what my family looks like. I know what my friends look like. At least the ones I've met in person. But yeah, like, I don't know. I really suck at human faces, and I think it kind of unfortunately comes across in my art. I hate to say it, but I think it does. Dude. Maybe pull this one back a little. Something like that, I think. I love Maine wolves so much. It's so interesting because I think they're part of the canid family, but they're not wolves. They're a completely different species. And they're so fascinating. They are the freakiest little shits, and I love them. Not really freaky, but you know, like, they're just weird. They're like a fox and a wolf, but like, they're like if somebody like not. If you had a fox and a wolf and you just smushed them together, but then stretched it back out and just put it on steroids. They're so weird, and I love them. I love them so much. Let's see here. But yeah, they're just weird little freaks, and they're my favorite. Okay, we need another strap over here. They're actually pretty timid too, shockingly. Also, it's so interesting because when a Maine wolf is born, like their pups are just pure black, basically. And then they eventually grow into the red fur, and it's so cool. Like, I don't know, there's just so many things about them that's really cool. I just love how they're just, like, freaking on stilts. Like, I'm not super, super tall. Like, I wouldn't mind being taller, but I'm very happy with my height, and I got, like, more of the taller genes in my family, so I'm sitting pretty happy at, like, 5'9" for my height, on average. Sometimes I look a little bit taller depending on, like, what kind of shoes I'm wearing, obviously. But about somewhere hanging around that. You know, I'm not 6 foot, but I'm, like, about 5'9". I don't know what that is in centimeters. I don't do conversions. I am a shitty little American. But yeah, no, I'm happy with my height. And I was always the tallest kid in class, because I had huge growth spurt when I was a kid. So I was super, super tall in most of my classes when I was a kid.
And I was always really happy with that. I actually had my my third grade teacher called me Northwest Angle after the little bit on Minnesota's topmost border, because I was the tallest kid in class, and I thought that was like the coolest shit ever. I was like so happy with that as a kid. I was just really, really happy with being like a tall kid. But yeah, like with basically what I'm trying to get at is like I love Maine wolves. I love how they're tall, stilted dogs. I just love everything about them. And they got like a freaking mohawk and shit too. Like they're awesome. Yeah, their call is literally a roar bark. Yeah, I love it too. Also, how they can get zoos rated by just marking their territory. But yeah, so I don't have like super finalized ideas. Like the picture I showed, that was the one that was in color next to my sketch. That was my Minecraft fox design for like when I did an origin server with a friend. And I really enjoyed that. And I want to stick more to the Maine wolf look. I love foxes too. Foxes are so much fun. And it's kind of like if I combine foxes and Maine wolves, it gets really confusing because they look very similar, but they're very different things, and people obviously can very easily confuse the two. So we'll see how it turns out. We'll see how it goes. But that's basically what my plan is. I was talking to my friend who might be potentially helping me. We'll see. I kind of want to do it myself too. But anyways, I was talking to my friend who might be helping me with it. I was like, you know what? I think it would be so much fun to do different little like designs for the PNG tuber, so that like I can have it just very easily color swap out. So I can do ones for, you know, like my normal colors, which is the teal and the orange, and then I can have like a fall one for like Halloween and stuff with the purple and orange, and then I could do Christmas with the red and white / cream, kind of off-white, I guess. And then maybe a Valentine's one with red and white, but different orientation. And maybe like a springtime one for like pink and brown sakura color, maybe. I like sakuras. Yeah, don't call me a weeaboo, but I like sakuras. I think they're pretty. Do I want to try and throw a buckle down here? I don't really. I guess I could. I could try throwing a buckle. By just doing something a bit like this, maybe. Yeah, roughly like that. That works. Good enough. Good enough. I think that, yeah, I think that technically works. I'm not gonna question it too much. Okay. So let's go ahead and turn these parts on now so we can see this in full detail. Okay, so we need the strap now. That hooks back up. Is this hooked up to anything? I don't see you connected to anybody. Got the brow band up there. We have the bit strap. Okay, so for the bit strap, oh shoot, I still need this visible to see. So I had that hook up somewhere about here-ish. So it kind of hooks up like underneath this part here. I'm just gonna try and like wing it, I think, and just see how this comes out. Actually, I might put this on one of the halter metal things. Something like that, maybe.
good enough. Okay, so let's do, I'm gonna do also, I need a nice reference of one of these hooks, but I think I want to do the one that's like the lobster claw maybe. I feel like the lobster claw is kind of easy to work with. That's not where I meant to put you. So basically this goes around like so. There's like a center bit here. Okay, there we go. That gives us something to reference. And then this is gonna kind of hook up a little something something like this, roughly speaking. And this should be an empty layer to use. Oh god, this thing is hard to actually make out how I drew this. Doesn't help, I'm drawing black on everything else. Let's try this. Maybe I can see this a little bit easier. There we go. This is a little more functional. Turn this up just a touch so I can hopefully try to see it a little better. Kinda. And then where's that bit strap? This needs to... Nope. Is that where you connect up at? Yeah. To hide this bottom shit because it's getting in my way of seeing what I'm trying to do. Okay, so yeah, we don't need... Okay, we don't need you as part of that. What we do need is this to go into it. And then come back around. Like so. Ugh. Zoomed out too fast. I'm just gonna have it kind of slide its way over like this and hopefully nobody cares. I think it works. Okay, and then have this connect up kind of like so. Hopefully that'll work. Ish. Want it to feel like a ring. I think that works well enough. Okay, so that's gonna be part of the bit strap. Put the details back on. Everybody's a freaking mess in here because it's too many things layered on top of each other. Okay, so for the bit strap, this one is technically fine to merge with this. And then this is just going to need to have a mask on it to hide the segments that are going to be going through the ring here. Oh, not that side. Okay, the bit itself will need a mask in the segments that get covered here. And if I could see fuck all underneath this thing. And here. Just gotta break this down bit by bit. I think I'm gonna just merge these guys. I don't want to deal with it, so merge that in. Halter base. You're gonna need... hide it in there. Hide it here. And here. And here. This whole thing's gonna be a mess to try and hide. There we go. Oh, we're gonna need to hide it underneath the bit too, because the bit is going to need to be visible in these locations. God, this is confusing to look at. Okay, that is part of the halter that's visible. Nope, not the halter. Who the hell are you? Is that the bit strap? I think that's the bit strap that's visible. Okay, so the halter base still needs to get hidden here. The bit needs to hide here too. God, this is so fucking confusing to try and look at. Okay, there we go. Now we're starting to get somewhere. No, halter needs to hide underneath the bit more. Okay, it's starting to work. Halter metal needs to hide underneath this. Now for this hot mess up here, I'm just gonna put an entire thing on the details thing, because it'll be easier. Like, of course I had to choose, like, the most confusing way to possibly do this, you know? Couldn't have picked a more sensible way to handle my model, but, or not model, my artwork. But whatever. Whatever. Honestly, I'm just gonna hide that because it just... I think it's too much visual information right there. Okay, we still got some stuff here. I think we got most of it. Hopefully. Okay, I think that takes care of that. Okay, so now we can finally get into the color and wrap this baby up. So, time to try and find every single little segment that does not get color. Woo! This is gonna be a bitch. Oh, lovely. I'm gonna have to fix that too. Okay, I think that's the majority of it. Select, band, invert, and fill the basin. Now it's time to fix all my mistakes. Woo! Basically, I'm trying to connect all these little spots where I use the horse head to kind of lock it down. Because when I make bases off of these things again in the future, it'll make my job easier, pretty much. Because it'll be a complete empty, or not empty, it'll be a complete... it'll be able to tell where I do and don't want stuff. Let's just put it that way. Oh, I missed this spot. So hopefully this will work a little bit better in the future. Some of these spots get really thin, so it doesn't work the way I expect it to. So I have to go back in and fill these guys in, fortunately. Okay, I think that gets the majority of it. I'm just gonna grab the metal next. And let's grab the dark brown. Won't need the rope. Well, actually, no, we'll keep the rope, but we'll rename it halter. So dark brown sections are gonna go here. So this segment here is actually a buckle. That's what I was trying to do. So we're going to recolor the halter into the red color with the rope bridles because technically speaking it's not leather. So it's actually going to be like nylon or whatever. I can't remember what the I can't remember what I put down as the contents it's made out of, but yeah, it's going to be a synthetic fabric thing. Oh, shit, I missed there too. Okay, that line does close up though. Okay, so what we're gonna do then is grab the red off of you. We're gonna apply this as same location here, and then we're just gonna remove that from the reins, because the reins will still be treated as if they're leather for now. Just to keep it consistent, I guess. Why not? Okay. Oh, pfft. I forgot to make this metal colored. Oopsie. Okay, there we go. So yeah, as you can see here, this whole thing is supposed to be like whatever material. Let's just do dark red for those segments that are the little strappy bits here. There we go. So yeah, this is going to be the color I'm just going to use for all the bridal, or not bridles, for all of the non-leather based sections of the tack, so mostly halters, like nylon halters and stuff. All these are just going to use the red. Just going to be easiest. I think this segment though, this is actually supposed to not have anything. Yeah, because this is a strap and then there's another strap. So there we go. So there's the snap-on endurance bridle. Next one will be the side pull, but I think I'm going to end it there. We hit the 3 hours, which is better than I did last time. Holy shit. So not too shabby. I'm going to go ahead and delete my references because we don't need them anymore. And then we'll go ahead and scoot all these guys down to here. And then after that, we'll be working on the halters, some of which we're already getting done just by doing these ones. Eventually, I will do the front versions, but it's going to take me some time to kind of figure out the logistics and make sure I have a good reference. So front versions, we're not focusing on right now. We're just redoing the side versions off of my old concept art. And I got to figure out what I'm going to do with that replacement hackamore. So I don't know if I'll do that on call, or not call, sorry, on stream. We'll see, but I think we're gonna call it done there, so. There we go. Oh, Clay, you're gonna miss me ending stream. I'm so sorry. Well, I hope you have a good supper. I'm gonna go get my dinner too. But yeah, have a good night, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!